Hey everyone, and welcome to the midweek review. So let's get right into it by looking at the overall market as a whole, starting off here with the ES futures. If we zoom in on it here, we can see that we did have this daily squeeze now fire to the upside, and we got this nice push up here into +2 ATR. It does look to be rejecting that level a little bit and being kind of flat here. I definitely could see us reverting back down to at least this 8 EMA before potentially making another push. And then if it doesn't hold that level, I would definitely see it coming back down here to this 21 EMA. But I am still very bullish on the market as a whole with its whole structure. Everything is trading how it should, trading above that 21. We have our stacked DMAs, so everything is leading me to believe that this market is still very bullish. Now going on to the Qs, this one also did have its daily squeeze fire to the upside. It made a higher push than the ES, almost hitting that +3 ATR region, which is definitely a place where you want to be hesitant, and more than likely the stock will revert off of that level. It is trading flat as of now, but just as I said with the ES, I think we could see a retest of this 8 EMA before continuing higher, and if not there, down to the 21. The Dow is kind of slacking compared to the other two. Not really doing a whole lot, just kind of going back and forth here the last week basically. We do have a daily squeeze setting up, but we do have these darker blue bars, which is some leading me to believe that it could maybe go down into some bearish momentum, but its structure is still holding nicely in the daily time frame. We're trading above the 21 with stacked DMA, so nothing yet has led me to believe that it is bearish, but this is declining, which as long as we're still above the 0 on the histogram, I am still bullish, so we will see where this one goes the rest of the week. Now, the Russell in my last video, I said that we could probably potentially see it hitting this resistance high up here because it was in this range between the support down here and then this resistance up here, and I think it still can. We had the squeeze fire down here at the bottom, made a nice push off of this 21 EMA, and I think we see a continuation with this one up into that resistance zone. So this one still looks really good in my opinion as well, and I think it should keep continuing here in the few weeks ahead. So now looking at a few sectors that I think will be good ones to watch in September would be, the first one is the semiconductors. So the semiconductors have been very solid here the last 2 weeks. I do believe we are going to now pull back to this 8 EMA, but if we look here on the weekly time frame, we can see that this weekly squeeze, is looking to fire to the long side, and I think we could see a few more weeks of strong continuation within this sector. So something within this sector that I definitely have my eyes on right now is AMD. Oops, let me go back to a daily time frame. Is AMD. So we have the daily squeeze setting up down here at the bottom. We're gaining bullish momentum on the histogram with these yellow colored bars. We're trading right at basically this 8 EMA. It's been holding it nicely, and I think we just see another continuation with this one back up to all-time highs. Like, this one has a solid setup, a solid structure. Everything about this one is leading me to believe that it could make another move higher. The next sector that I think has potential in the month of September is XLB, or the materials. So looking at this one on a daily time frame, you can see that we have a low compression squeeze that is just starting to set up. We held this 21 EMA perfectly today, and we've actually held it a few times now, which is leading me to believe that this structure is holding that 21, which is bullish. We have our stacked DMA, so everything about this structure is very bullish in my opinion to that upside, and something within that sector that I would be looking at is Sherwin Williams. We have our low compression squeeze setting up. We're trading well above that 21, and this thing has just been in a great uptrend, and these are the stocks that I like to look for. Anything in a great uptrend, we get that dip to the 21, and we buy it, and we wait for that push up to the +2 or +3 ATR. So the next one I like is the financial sector. If we look at the weekly time frame, We do have a low compression squeeze setting up on this one, trading above the 8 EMA, and then come back to the daily. We're holding that 21 EMA as of now, and we're just starting a low compression squeeze. It doesn't mean that this one couldn't start to roll over, which it could, but I do like that it rejected that level, which we could maybe potentially see a pop off of that up past these all-time highs here. So one that I'm going to definitely watch within the financial sectors is Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs has been in a great uptrend for a long, long time now. And you can see here, it's basically get to the 21, buy the dip here. You get down to the 21s, buy the dip, it rips. Buy the dip, it rips. So I'm just waiting for this one to do the exact same thing. Come down here to the 21, we buy, and we're going to look to do the exact same thing as it has before with its trend, and hoping that it will rip to the upside. Another one I'm looking at is XLI. We have the low compression squeeze. We've been coming in and out of bullish momentum with the histogram, but it is still above zero, which is bullish. We've been holding the 21 EMA nicely, stacked EMAs. Everything about its structure is looking like it could definitely make another push to that upside. So one that I'm watching within XLI is Honeywell. This one has a great daily squeeze setting up. Did get one red bar today as it closed below that 21. But if we can get a few more closes above that 21, I think that this one could, along with the sector, keep pushing to that upside and make a nice play. The last sector that I'm looking at for September is XLV. Just like all the other sectors I've been looking at, if you just look at the trend, it comes down to the 21, bounces off of it, comes down to that 21, bounces off of it, and exactly today, it came down to that 21, completely rejected it, and almost closed, it did close in the green, so barely closed in the green. So now a stock within this sector that I'll be looking at is Unitedhealth. We have a low compression squeeze setting up here. We are trading below that 21, but I do think that we can easily recapture that level as we made this rejection on that -1 ATR. So this one, in my opinion, along with the sector, could also make a nice continuation to the upside as long as the market itself holds itself together. So now a few plays that I'm actually looking at for the rest of the week is Oracle. This one had a nice pop here, a nice consolidation. We had a new daily squeeze set up. Finally getting the different color here with the yellow bar. Holding this 21 EMA nicely. Stacked EMAs, the exact structure I always look for. So this one looks solid for the rest of the week. The next one I'm looking at is Shopify. Has been kind of consolidating between this +1 ATR and this 21 EMA. We are getting bullish momentum on the squeeze. So everything about this one is setting up as well. We will look for this one to make, I think, another push up in here to the all-time highs. The last one I'm looking at is Square. So our histogram isn't the prettiest thing to look at. We are having a few red bars, but the structure is telling me that it is still solid. We're holding this 21 EMA. We have stacked EMAs, so everything about this one is still holding structure, which leads me to believe that it can still make a continuation as long as this squeeze comes back to this yellow-colored histogram and we get another push to that upside. And now reviewing a few trades that we actually took in the group today. The first one being Roblox. So looking at the daily time frame here, we can see that we have a squeeze setting up here. We had the squeeze go to a low compression. It pushed almost up to 2 ATR and came right back down and reverted to this 21 EMA. We took an entry right around that 21 EMA and are hoping for a continuation back up to at least this prior high or this +2 ATR, which is basically a high over here as well. So this one looks solid in my opinion, and I think it can definitely make another move higher as long as the market cooperates. The other one we added today on the team was actually AMD. So I already discussed this one before, but its structure is solid. The semiconductors look solid as a whole as well. So everything about this trade looks solid in my opinion. So this is the midweek review. Hopefully you all get a better understanding of a few things to look at coming into September and where the markets could potentially go. So have a great week, everyone.